Hi everyone, Dr. Remy from Posturesize. Today we're going to be talking about Personal Trainer 101 tips for you to customize balance exercises for your senior citizen clients. Hope you enjoy. So one of the very first 101 tips I teach my personal trainers that are going to be dealing with senior citizens is to assess their balance, because as people get older, many times one of their primary concerns with personal training is to develop better balance, to prevent falls, to prevent injuries. Many personal trainers take a generic approach to addressing balance training with their senior citizen clients. By this I mean whether you're working on one-legged stance exercises, eyes closed, proprioceptive rich exercises like standing on Bosu balls or balance beams. They're just trying to train a client to stand upright and stay in a position that prevents them to fall. But they rarely base this on an accurate assessment of what the biomechanics and the postural and movement tendencies are of their senior citizen personal training clients. For example, in lateral stability, which is what we're going to be talking about today, there's also rotational stability. Lateral stability is a side-to-side stability, and many people, when they fall, including senior citizens, are going to start their fall with the upper body moving sideways. There's also rotational stability, front-to-back stability, translatory stability. But we're going to be talking about today how to assess and how to implement lateral stability into your personal training clients who are senior citizens to improve their balance. So the first thing you need to do with these people is you need to assess with their feet together, because some of them may have very poor balance, if they, when they close their eyes, have a slight movement side to side more than front to back. If they do when they're standing with their feet together and eyes closed, that's a sure indication that they have a lateral stability issue. Normally when you close your eyes, the body should either be perfectly straight or a normal front to back and side to side equal slight sway, less than 1/4 of an inch. If you notice more than 1/4 of an inch swaying sideways, that indicates lateral stability problems, and we're going to plug in some exact exercises for that. If they don't have an instability with their eyes closed, feet together, try having them stand on one leg while holding on or tapping for something for a little balance. If they exhibit a lateral stability on one leg more than another, you know you have more of a one-sided stability problem. That can also be done with the eyes closed. And typically what you're going to find when you close the eyes, and you can be next to them so you can help stabilize them, you're going to notice one side has more of a tilt with the upper body than the other side. Typically, the side that they lean their upper body towards, the torso leans towards, is related to a stability problem having to do not just with the torso and the local core muscles, but also hip mechanics. Many of your senior citizen personal training clients will have a tendency to stand with one foot out more than another, or walk with one foot out more than another. This is a habit that comes from crossing the legs, sitting in certain postures, sleeping with one leg out, crossing the legs. As a result, when that hip comes out or is trained to be out more than the other, it tightens muscles in the hip, which cause an upward migration of the pelvis called hip hiking. When hip hiking occurs, the ribs compensate, they don't fall away, by leaning in to try to rebalance the body. And this creates a chronic tendency to lean into that same side where they turn their foot out. You can check this on your clients. Have them watch on the treadmill or walking across the gym floor if one foot turns out more than another. If it does, that's a sign that they may have lateral instability. Check it with a standing assessment. Have them close their eyes, open eyes, feet together. You'll see a more side-to-side instability or waver into that side where the foot typically turns out. So you're going to plug this into your lateral stability training for that client. Because if you just have them do balance exercises without addressing this unique feature, you're only going to be strengthening their dysfunction, which is to go into that lateral sway. That's actually going to work against them. You want to strengthen proper mechanics and a knowledge of that unique individual's movement tendencies when you start programming their balance training. So in a case like this, the exercises we would want to use are exercises that train that left leg to be straight and to increase the distance between the pelvis and the ribs, to keep an equal space between ribs and pelvis on one side, primarily the side, in this example, my left side, of the leg that turns out. So exercises such as squats with that left leg an inch back and turned in, with the kneecap tracking in the same direction as that foot is turned in, 15 to 20 degrees, That's going to train the hip joint to move in. And as you do this, you train them to keep the rib cage up and the hip down, so you're training the integrated relationship between foot, knee, hip, and torso and core muscles to hold that spot open. Standing exercises, standing on all four corners of the foot and maintaining a lengthened position where we're pushing the pelvis down and the ribs up. That's called an anti-hip hike standing exercise. That can be done with the eyes open first, holding on, and eventually holding off, closing the eyes, and eventually with trainer tapping, where you try to tap them into that lean sideways. That's going to help them maintain that upright position. Eventually that can be transferred to a balanced ball or balanced beam. Lunges or stationary squats with that leg that likes to turn outwards, hip external rotation, and the side that likes to lean more to one side, that lateral stability side, that side with the foot forward, because in the typical split stance squat or lunge, you're going to notice as you go down, they're going to have more of a tendency to lean into that side. So that's the side you want to train them to keep the rib cage up as they're squatting or as they're doing their stationary split squats or lunges. Lastly, exercises such as cables, resistance bands that allow that foot to rotate in from the thigh. You can hook that onto the foot of the leg and do internal hip rotations, as well as side plank series, side bridges, where you're training that side to stay open. Typically that side is going to want to close when we have that side down. So if I'm doing a side bridge off a bench or a floor, typically that side wants to close down as I hold the bridge position. So as we hold the bridge position, we want to keep that side that has a tendency to lean towards open, the rib up and the hip down, so we're keeping a level or equal distance between pelvis and rib from side to side. These are the types of exercises, these are the types of thinking you need to plug into your personal training with senior citizens to avoid these lateral stability issues. If you like this video on lateral stability training for your personal training senior citizen clients, give me a thumbs up below. Let's share it with other people. Questions or comments, write in. I'll do my best to answer them. And if you're looking for a detailed way to assess your personal training clients, to modify exercises to meet their unique mechanics and to stay away from injuries, which includes not only balance stability but also joint stability, check out our essential crash course for personal trainers at the posturesize.com website. We have a distilled down and very easy but in-depth approach to assessing all your clients' mechanics, posture, movement tendencies, and how to create program and exercise program with their personal training exercises to get the most out of improving their balance, avoiding pains and injuries. I hope this video on personal training for your senior citizen clients helps you with your personal training business.